Hey, what's going on? Eric Bach here, and welcome. Today, we're gonna break down 5 training mistakes you're making that are preventing you from maximizing muscle growth and your results in the gym. Are you ready? Let's go. Okay, number 1 is not following a program. I hear this all the time. Hey, I know what to do, but I'm not getting results. Then I talk to somebody and they say, well, one day I'm doing yoga, one day I'm doing running, and then I'm training arms, and I'm training legs, and they might be doing a lot of exercises, but they're not actually following a structured program. Listen, if we want to be able to maximize body composition, if we want to be able to look great naked without living in the gym, it's not going to be enough just to throw a bunch of different training variables and take things from social media and piecemeal them together if you want to seriously make progress. I mean, think of anything else in life. Do you think Steph Curry before a game is just dribbling and throwing things up, or do you think he has a routine? If you're trying to build a skill professionally, do you just consume random courses, or would it be best to have a curriculum where you stack one skill on top of the next? Unfortunately, a lot of people treat training like it's just a bunch of variables and they throw them together and wonder why they're not getting any results past the newbie gains. And so the reality is what we have to do is focus on completing complete programs based on science with practical principles that are applied consistently. So we need to be following complete programs, otherwise, that's why you're not making results in the gym. Number 2 is muscle confusion. Listen, your muscles do not have a brain. They do not get confused. But apparently you might be if you are chasing muscle confusion as a way to try to build muscle. Now I get the idea. When you do new exercises, it might feel novel, it might be exciting, and you might actually notice some more soreness because your body isn't used to it. But the reality is if you want to be able to build muscle and get jacked, you have to actually allow these adaptations to take place. People who chase muscle confusion think I need to keep throwing different things in my body to keep it guessing. The reality is we need to be able to train with a program that builds one physiological variable onto the next one, and we have to have those adaptations. And so what happens is if you're constantly changing the exercises that you do, you're never actually building the skill of getting better at the exercise themselves. And this is where I see people doing a lot of different exercises, but not really being strong in any one of them. And so what we need to do is get really good at basics, right? Think of it this way. If you go from squatting 225 to 315, you're gonna be quite a bit stronger. And because of that, guess what? Well, because you're stronger, you can now lift that 225 for dramatically more reps and probably with better technique. You see, when you build a skill set of getting strong and sticking with a few basic exercises, this is where you learn to control things like tempo, where you can do mid-rep pauses, where you can start to feel strength and balances and make your training that much more efficient. And so what we need to do is actually treat strength training like a skill. When we treat strength training like a skill, we get proficient. When we get proficient and very skilled at doing these exercises, then we can start to add a few more variables to make the more advanced training methods that so many people see and get excited about that much more effective. But if we're just trying to confuse our muscles and add variation for the hell of it, it's just shooting yourself in the foot. So find the exercises that work best for your body and just get brutally strong at them. If you want to start adding some variation, do that more with the accessory work at the very end of your workout versus changing that core lift all the time. I'll tell you what, I've been training for 15 years, worked with elite level athletes in NFL, NBA, NHL, and physique competitors, all of this cool stuff. And you know what they focus on? Benches, squats, deadlifts, rows, hip thrusts, these basic exercises, not changing things up all the time. They get strong as hell, they master the execution, and then we start to weave in some more complexity once that is there. But if you're not getting and mastering these basics, you're shooting yourself in the foot, and if you're changing things too often, trying to be entertained, you're likely sacrificing entertainment for results. Number 3, we have junk volume. Now, a lot of times I'll have somebody who's interested in coaching, they'll send over their workout and be like, yeah, check out all this. And what I'll see is like 13 exercises in one particular workout. And so oftentimes what people do is they think, hey, this workout's not harder, let's add more. But the reality is they're not actually training hard enough to make use of the exercises that are already there. And so what we need to think about when it comes to building muscle, we have this balance between our training and our recovery. Our recovery is our ability to get 6 to 7, 8 hours of sleep. It's getting adequate nutrition. It's reducing stress and getting enough protein and avoiding shooting ourselves in the foot by getting hammered on the weekend and whatever else is going on, right? And so what we need to think about is we don't just want to try to make up the fact that we are not nailing these other areas by doing more in the gym, because that balance of training and recovery is thrown off. And so what I see for a lot of people is they're adding more exercises, they're doing more reps, they're doing all of these things trying to jack up their training volume instead of training with heavy weights in the hypertrophy rep range and getting close to failure. Seriously, what we need to focus on is getting stronger with basic exercises consistently, taking your work sets close to failure consistently versus just piling on more volume. By and large, a lot of the workouts that I design for my clients that create incredible transformations, we're talking 5 to 6 exercises, anywhere from 2 to 4 work sets within those exercises, and they're in and out of the gym in about an hour. And the reason is, training is not just about adding more. It's about creating the optimal stimulus that you need in order to build lean muscle and then getting out and actually recovering. But if you're just adding exercises, you're adding drop sets, you're adding supersets and all these different things just to try to do more in the gym, take a step back and think, am I actually taking these work sets within 1 or 2 reps of failure? Or do I have more in the tank with what I'm doing? Because if we're just adding volume, what's the point? If we're not taking that volume close to failure, it's not really gonna create a stimulus anyway. We're just adding pointless volume onto our body, wear and tear in our joints. It isn't really gonna lead to the results that we're after anyway. Point number 4, you're not taking your work sets close to failure. Now, you might wonder questions like, hey, what's better? Heavy weight in lower reps or lower weight in higher reps? Well, researchers looked at stuff like this, and you know what they found? They found that either way, you can build muscle. The key is taking these work sets close to failure. And again, most people do not quite train at the intensity that they need in order to get the gains that they're looking for. Let me give you a quick example. This ties back to my other point about changing exercises too often. Recently, I started doing hack squats, right? And so at the hack squat in the gym, it took me a while to actually find out what my weight was. And so I was going through and had a final set that was supposed to be 8 reps. And so I got to the 8 reps, I'm like, shit, that was really hard. But then you know what? I did another rep. And I took a breath, I did another rep. And I ended up doing 14. And I was like, holy shit, Eric, like, because you're not used to this exercise, you're not quite sure how hard you can push yourself on this. And it's a good thing that you did, because in this case, I thought it was pushing myself hard at 8. I had 6 more reps. And guys, I've been training for 15 years and worked with elite level athletes and been in elite level shape, right? And so what we need to think about is, am I actually taking these sets close to failure? And so what I want you to do, just see this little video that's right here and playing. And so if you notice this, I'm actually going to the point where my muscles are just about stopping and then I can't quite complete the rep. That's an example of a dumbbell bench press. And so I will take a work set to this extent just about every time that I'm training with these heavy compound exercises, because I know how to do it strategically. Now with something like a squat, do I want to be shaking like a banshee and get pinned? Of course not. We have to know our limits, but we have to be able to go within 1 to 2 reps of true failure, regardless of what the weight is on the bar, if we want to be able to maximize that muscle building stimulus and get in the best shape possible. Okay, so now this last piece, number 5, is alignment. You're not factoring in your training, nutrition. You're not factoring in what you're doing in terms of sleep, stress, and recovery. You see, building your best body is not just about your workouts. It's not just about your nutrition. It's all of these other things that play a huge role in terms of the progress that you're going to make or not make in the gym. You see, you could be doing everything right when it comes to your training, but if you're not getting adequate sleep, it's not gonna matter. If you're training hard in the gym, but your nutrition is inconsistent 3 days out of the week, that's 3 days that you're gonna not be making progress. 4 to 7 is a 57%. So can you really expect elite level results from your training if your nutrition is only dialed in 57% of the time? Hell no, you can't, right? And so what we need to think about is, how well am I sleeping? How well am I doing with my nutrition? And what is my stress level like? And these other factors actually get dialed into your programming. And this is things that we do specifically within our coaching for our clients, because again, if you're not getting good enough sleep, you're not going to be able to do these other factors to the best of your ability. If you're not getting good sleep, you're not going to be able to train consistently close to failure. You're not going to be able to get good pumps in the gym, right? These other training factors are all going to be impacted by what else you do. If we want to look at the nutrition side, I have a lot of people that come up and they say, hey Eric, I want to lose fat and I want to build muscle. And so what happens is, they train like they're trying to build muscle and they say they want to build muscle, but then they're eating like a low carbohydrate diet and they have no fuel for their actual training. And so they wonder why they're not able to perform their best and make the most of their training. And so what I want you to think about, and this is more of an overall synergistic thing, is am I really aligning everything that I need with my goals, or am I just kind of cherry picking different things that seem cool and hoping that it works? Because if we don't have alignment between your training, your nutrition, your lifestyle, and have all of these factors working together, you're going to end up working hard, but you're not going to get results for the hard work that you want. And that's not what I want. So what you need to think about, can I get dialed with my training? And when I'm doing my workouts, to be able to get the most out of them, am I following a program? If not, you can't expect great results. Are you trying to confuse your muscles, or are you treating strength like a skill and getting awesome at these exercises so you can be more effective with every rep that you do? Are you doing too much junk volume? And by extension, are you not taking things close to failure? If that's the point, then you're gonna be struggling as well. And then the final component right here, alignment. if you are misaligned in terms of your training, if you are going low carb and trying to build muscle and you're doing all these different things, you're not getting good enough sleep, that's going to compromise everything else that you're able to do. We have to remember that as recovery or as sleep, as nutrition goes down, our ability to handle higher loads and higher intensity training is also going to be compromised. So you need to have a plan that focuses on a synergy that brings all of these things together so you can look great naked without living in the gym and work smarter, not just work harder and not get the payoff for all the hard work that you are putting in. All right. Hey, if you found this beneficial or if you hated it, drop me a comment below. Listen, I love the comments. Of course, they also help drive people directly here and let me know what I need to put more of to be able to help you look, feel, and perform your best. And as always, drop us a thumbs up and let me know what you want to see next. Have a great day and I'll talk to you soon.